And I stepped over the board and thought, God, maybe I could just borrow this guy's board. So I walked back and there was a guy sitting on the beach. The board said, Dick. I said, Dick, could I borrow your board? He said, sure. I think it was kind of on the east side of Oahu. We were into riding whatever we got, but then when Tom came up with the soft bodyboard, it ticked all the boxes, I guess, for me.
I remember my mom had one of the old Mori 1, 2, 3 boards. A cat had scratched it up, so I remember just coming back from the beach and my stomach being all raw and like lying in bed like, whoa, I got a lot of rash.
This is the coolest story ever. It came from Stewart's Pharmacy.
First time I bodyboarded was definitely with my parents across the street in my hometown in Maui.
It was in my hometown, Chigasaki, and when I was 8 years old.
My dad would push me into waves on a surfboard when I was young, but then I started going to this one beach where you couldn't have a surfboard, you only could ride a bodyboard.
The whole kinetic nature of it is like a whole other dimension. The fact that you can control the shape of the board, you can control water flow and drag and speed with your legs, and just how you contort your body. It's like almost like a fast version of body surfing. So we're here to be of service, not just for the service, but for the hell of it, for the fun of it, which you are when you're out there perfecting your craft as a surfer. And you, again, are not a boogie boarder or a boogieer, you are a surfer. And even that term has to do with the surface, riding the surface, which the surfboarder is kind of close to the surface, and the body surfer is more immersed, but is below the level of the nuances of the waves to a great extent. So to be prone and have your arms to paddle with and your feet to paddle with is laudable.
We were like a freak show. And then Mike Stewart was doing such amazing things on the bodyboard that they were like, oh God, let that guy go.
Let's bring Jacqueline home, guys from Australia, New Zealand, all these places over, to go surfing together and be filmed by all the movie makers and all the cameramen.
Back when we did it, it was just a dream. And I remember people saying, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was like, I want to be a pro boogie boarder.
Now it's disparaged by the guys that are stand-up surfers, but that's their problem. A lot of bodyboarders are quite open-minded and pretty progressive. They're doing it for the pure joy of it, rather than what's more socially accepted a lot of times.
Oh, this guy's doing big barrel rolls on the 10-foot sets? Get the F out of his way.
Surfing is a personal experience and a self-expression, and you're not really doing it for anyone else. You're out there with the other guys, and who cares what Jack and Mildred in Daytona Beach think about it? It's what you think about it as a surfer.
Bodyboarding makes you realize that you don't take things too seriously.
Open your mind up to the fact that learning is not half the fun. As is said, learning is all the fun.
Oh, bodyboarding is like so high level right now.
You can take off later and deeper and get in the barrel longer, which is the biggest rush I think we've all have, is like it was getting those long, deep barrels.
Thank the holy trio. I feel like CEO. I'm about to live my dream. I don't glow, I bling. My price just went way up, but I'm free. My price just went way up, yeah, but I'm free.
When I watch guys like Jeff and Tanner or Sammy Martino, like, it's crazy the way they explode.
What I see is like a constant evolution of riding.
The youth that we've got coming through now, and you watch guys like Tanner McDaniel and Tristan Roberts absolutely destroying guys in the water.
At the moment, I think Tanner McDaniel is the best bodyboarder, you know, like he's only like 21, and I think technically he's just as good as someone can be.
Just in terms of his technicality and precision in what he's doing, I think he's probably the most advanced.
Back in the days, Chigusa Nishiyama, she was one of the big waver. And also Chiaki Okuyama, she followed the World Tour. And then also I look up Neymar Carvalho a lot because I just like her bodyboarding style.
Valentina Diaz in Puerto Escondido and Ayaka traveling around the world like getting insane waves. Joanna Schenker and what she's doing for the sport in Portugal.
If I'm competing, no matter what it is, I want the best competition there is. I need to know where my weaknesses are. If you don't have reference to what your weaknesses are, then you can only improve so far.
Amazing, bro. Like, I love it. Because I'm kind of getting bored to compete with women because the level is, it's like kind of stopping.
Now that the girls are competing against the guys and that they're beating the guys.
That's good, you know, I want to learn too, you know. I'm not hung up with what their gender is. And I think it's a pretty awesome opportunity for them to compete successfully against other competitors, male or female.
I just want to compete with the next level and improve my skill. And then my maybe future dream is like I want to be in a podium with the men's.
Hawaii is the most geographically isolated places from the North Pacific.
7 Mile Miracle we call, like it's like all the way, like everywhere you can surf.
There's no continental shelf. The reef basically drops off and keeps going.
There's definitely going to be a session where you're going to get the wave of your life.
The Hui and the locals that surfed out here, they were a fierce bunch.
That surfer kept surfing during a bodyboarding hit. Kind of went there and tried to tell him nicely, and he just seriously, I don't know what was wrong with this guy, but he got absolutely destroyed.
The dark side of human nature, right? Where you're just like in a combative mode.
It was a heavy vibe out here. It was like super gnarly, bro. Like straight up gangster.
The first day I went out there, that was like a revelation for me.
The way that thing comes in and just throws one time, and
it was like, okay, this is like the pinnacle of waves.
You will not feel energy like that anywhere else.
It's uncomparable. Like, you're not going to get any wave that's as powerful
It's like
as
the
that.
Mount Everest of wave riding.
I've seen a couple heavy wipeouts here.
Pipeline is the most deadly wave there is. More fatalities there than anywhere else by far.
Just took off on this bomb and got to the bottom, and then the thing just exploded. It had blood running down his face from just smashing into the reef.
You know, that situation happens so quickly, and then the guy's just floating in the water, and it's a heavy place to be.
For me, that's just so scary because it's just somebody that I grew up with, like somebody I actually know, like, you know, it just touches you way differently. You're like, whoa, like.
A lot of the time, guys are jostling for waves, and it gets really dangerous, especially when it's a
There's
place
so
like
much
that.
energy from the crowd, the waves, whether you're deep on the reef, if the current's pulling and pushing, you just got to know, like.
I'd gone in, and then the next thing I know, they were searching for him, and just someone had died right there. Pulled in deep and just went under, hit his head, and just knocked out. saw the wave, I looked at it and saw him pull in, and I looked away. And then while finding out that he broke his back and was paralyzed from the waist down, it was just, oh yeah, there's just so much there that it's.
We have all these faculties in us physically, like we got adrenal glands, we got canine teeth. I think nowadays in society, especially in the virtual world, you don't activate those. You're not really using the full capacity of a human. I think you can activate, or they become activated in the heat of battle.
You're going to be one of 200 people, and the chances are that you are going to win anyhow, because you're up against guys that are doing this professionally. Well, winning isn't all that important to a real surfer.
Had it not been a contest, I don't think I'd be like trying to hit the lip. I had in my mind I wanted to do that, I just didn't know how to do it. That changed everything, like right there.
We saw during the competition, these west bombs that were coming through were not only hitting the reef and barreling on the reef, but then it's a bodyboarder's dream. It then turns onto sand and just keeps going and gives you section after section.
So when pipeline's really on, what separates the men from the boys is who's gonna go upside down on that thing.
And it's just such a great bodyboarding wave. It's a right, it's a left, it's heavy and intense and gnarly at the same time.
Well, if you notice this last event, there were a couple sets that came through that were just almost downright scary.
The end of that final, I was in the lead. And with less than 5 minutes to go, Tanner takes off on an insider and gets a reverse and gets a score that takes him ahead of me. I was then needing just over a 9, and I had priority and I just sat out there. It was a minute 20 to go. I looked out to sea and there was just like one set just peaking at second reef, and I turned to Tanner and I was like, what do you think the chances are that these get to us on time?
As soon as that wave came in and he got it, I knew that he was going to get the score.
One more chance, 10 seconds.
I'm not sure if that wave's going to come in
10
time.
10 seconds, Ian Campbell.
In my mind, it was like Hail Mary. And as I started bottom turning into it, it was just unbelievable, the form that it took onto the reef. And I couldn't really see, and it just went white inside, and then all of a sudden I just felt it like pick me up and start to push me out.
Campbell on the biggest wave of the day!
Right as the buzzer blew, I was like, that was it. Like,
I didn't realize until I got to the beach what had happened. And Tanner came running over and he was just like, bro, you've done it. You got a 10. And I was like, what? He's like, you got a 10, you won the event. And that was obviously like that moment at the end there when it was like the realization was pretty overwhelming.
Ian just was able to find the perfect wave, so he was able to get the scores.
So to have a competition to see who is the best surfer, it's a cute novelty, and it's like an amateur talent show. But who cares which is the best looking woman in the world? This one right here, my wife, she's right for me.